how has the market for, sports technology grown in the last 20 years? Like, what have you seen maybe in the last 10? Like,
Yeah.
how from everyday applications to like people using step counters and like being incorporated into an iPhone as like a basic service to this stuff at your level that's at the top of the market?
I'm really glad you actually asked that question, because truth be told, I think the market's been pretty stagnant. But I think that's about to change. And my view of the future of how sports analytics is going to work is that it's going to be owned by the athlete. It's going to be owned by the person that produces it. And they're going to ultimately be able to productize the information that they create throughout their career. One of the big challenges right now is that players they have the opportunity to ask for their information and view it. But in order for them to possess it, that's kind of that's a big challenge right now in this space. And primarily because they don't have a place to put it. But I do think that that's going to change soon. And that's where I see this kind of being revolutionized is once they have a place to put it, they can begin telling stories around it. And they can begin doing things like not only owning moments such as the amazing dunk they had or a game winner they had, but also being able to own moments like injuries that they endure and what they did to get back from that injury. That's where the data is going to become it's going to become more alive. And then ultimately, once the player is able to own the information around what they did to not only what happened leading up to the injury, but also what they did to recover from the injury, they're going to be able to ultimately sell that. Like you're a 15-year-old who tears your ACL. I tore my ACL when I was at my, the peak level of my career. This is what happened leading up to it, and this is what I did following that. You're going to be able to sell your recovery methods. You're going to be able to sell your process back to the general public. And you might not even be playing anymore. And so for somebody to be able to tap into what some of these high-level players did at the peak of their careers is going to not only be an opportunity for the consumer, the aspiring athlete, but it's an opportunity for the players. And it's going to take them, the players recognizing right now that they have to own and possess that information throughout their career in order to eventually sell it back.
So what would be a concrete example of that? Like if we see someone jump really high on a big dunk, could they be like, it's the exact height that they jumped off the ground on 1 foot? And then, or is it more of like,
it could ultimately be anything, man. Like it could be the shoe they were wearing, what they ate that day, any distinct interventions they had made in their training leading up to that season. It could be whatever they want the narrative to be around it, whatever they felt led into it, right? And one thing that I like to talk about a lot when I discuss this with people is in the past, if you wanted to be like your favorite basketball player, what'd you do? You bought his sneakers because your favorite player was probably Michael Jordan.
Right.
And that was his product. It was shoes. That's what he sold. That's what he sold that was tangible, at least. He sold a lot of other stuff, like from a mentality perspective, but he sold shoes. And you bought those shoes because to a degree you were like, man, I'm going to be more like this guy that I see flying through the air and winning every game and just like exhibiting this amazing athleticism. But you buying those shoes made you it didn't make you much more like Michael Jordan than the next person who bought them. But with the type of information that we have now on players, if they are to own and possess that stuff and be able to sell it back with all the contextualized things around it, what they were eating at the time, what type of training they were doing on court, in weight room, that's the type of stuff that's going to make you be more like whoever that player is that you enjoy.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video.
And subscribe and hit the bell for a whole lot more to come.